Okay, welcome back to Callum's Knowledge. In this task, I'll demonstrate how Python can be used to perform simple but important arithmetic operations within an accounting context. Specifically, we'll be calculating a company's gross profit and profit margin based on given revenue and expense figures. Now let's get started by defining two key variables, which will be revenue and expenses. Now these are both stored as a float data types because they represent monetary values. And in accounting, we often deal with decimal figures for precision. And in this example, as carried on from task 1, the company has a revenue of £1.5 million and expenses of £1.2 million. I'll just write all this down. Of course, these are floats, as mentioned earlier, as they work in a decimal point. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to calculate the gross profit. This is done by subtracting expenses from revenue using Python's subtraction operator. Gross profit represents the total amount the company has made before tax and other deductions, which is seen here, revenue minus expenses. This will also be a float because it's working with money again. Now that we have the gross profit, we will calculate the profit margin. And this will show us what percentage of the revenue is profit. And this is calculated by dividing the gross profit by the revenue and then multiplying by 100 to convert the result into a percentage. As we see here, I'm going to put in the calculation real quick. Gross profit divided by revenue. And this needs to be the same as what you've wrote earlier, otherwise it's not going to work. And the little star icon there, that counts as a times button, so multiplying. And profit margins are usually displayed with two decimal places, especially in reports or dashboards. So we'll use Python's built-in round function for this, to round the results to two decimal places, keeping the output clean and professional, just like you would in a workplace. Once we've done that, see that 2 represents, you round it to two decimal places, right? So next, we will use the print function. So remember from task 1, it's the same idea. This will display both the gross profit and the profit margin. This allows us and other people to view the program clearly, to see the results on the screen. But this is GBP, Great British Pounds, make it all clear. And we'll also put this one as a percentage. Now, together, these are useful indicators of a business's financial performance overall. It shows a clear picture of where the business is at. Quite basic still, but it'll help us in the future to build on more Python code. Of course, these are both outputs of the float. Now, if we run this, we see here it's showing that it's a profit of 300,000. Because if we change that now, we will see how the decimal places will change. It's 18.47, right? But if we change that to, let's say, 7, we'll see that it then has 7 decimal places. Just a little interesting, cool feature. You can change that to whatever number you like, but we'll keep it simple, work with 1.5 and 1.2 million. Now, what we can do is we can copy and paste that and put it into the previous one, and then the computer's glitching here, but if we press play here, we'll be able to see all of this information together, which is a really handy and cool tool. You can keep building on this and keep adding to it, and it'll eventually look really, really neat. Now for the calculation, you need to include that all there. As you see, revenue and expenses, it's all clear. Profit margin equals gross profit minus revenue. Thank you very much for watching. We have basically covered two float variables for revenue and expenses and performed basic subtraction and percentage calculations to determine gross profit and profit margin, rounded the result to 2 decimal places and printed the final output. This is a clear example of how Python can be used for everyday accounting tasks. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.